Good evening. I'll call to order the Arvada City Council meeting for March 23rd, 2020, and call upon Bob Pfeiffer for the pledge.
Thank you. If you would all join me in a moment of silent reflection. And now for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, in our new world, we're finding that there's a little bit of a delay between those of us who are in the council chambers and those who are not. Kristen Rush, if you'll do the roll call.
Mayor Williams?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Ellis?
Here.
Councilmember Pfeiffer?
Here.
Councilmember Ford?
Here.
Councilmember Jones?
Here.
Councilmember Marriott?
Here.
Councilmember Simpson?
Here.
Okay, I would entertain a motion. Lauren Simpson, were you going to make that motion?
Yes, my apologies, I do not have it in front of me. Your Honor, I can help with the language if that's appropriate at this point. Yes.
Then why don't you just we'll have Rachel read in the proposed motion, and then we'll vote on it.
So, under our City Council rules of procedure, City Council members are allowed to participate remotely in City Council meetings. However, if you have 4 members or more physically present in council chambers, it then prohibits any other members from participating and voting remotely. So, under the circumstances, since we do have 3 members of council who are participating remotely, being Dot Miller, Nancy Ford, and John Marriott, it would be, if you'd like for these members of council to be able to participate and vote remotely, it would be appropriate at this juncture to make a motion to suspend the rules, City Council rules, to allow their participation. So it would be City Council Rule 1B that would be suspended.
Very good.
All right.
Ms. Simpson.
I move that City Council Rule 1B be suspended for the purpose of allowing remote participation and voting by council members.
Yes.
Is this just for this meeting, or how often, or how long can we make this for if there's future meetings?
The rule only says you can move to temporarily suspend the rules. It doesn't say how long that temporary juncture has to be. So you can vote to suspend it for this meeting, or if you're seeing an issue into the foreseeable future related to council meeting participation, you could choose a temporary time limit that your motion would be effective for.
Would you want that, Mayor?
Yeah, I think so. What do you think? 90 days? Would that be?
That would seem appropriate under the circumstances, given what we're hearing about public health and safety and how it is likely a good idea for some of our council members to participate remotely. I think that would be appropriate under the circumstances.
Could I offer a friendly amendment to include it for a 90-day time frame?
Absolutely.
Very good. Further discussion? We are going to not be voting by push button tonight, so I'll do a roll call. I'll begin. Nancy? Nancy Ford?
Yes.
Dot Miller?
Yes.
John Marriott?
Yes.
Bob Pfeiffer?
Yes.
David Jones?
Yes.
Lauren Simpson?
Yes.
Mark Williams, yes. That passes unanimously. We have suspended that rule and permitted us to operate as we're doing somewhat tonight for the next 90 days. With that, we have one item of new business, and that's a resolution. This is resolution authorizing an extension of the effective date of the city manager's declaration of emergency relating to the novel coronavirus, COVID-19, and the associated public health crisis. Mr. Devon.
Your Honor, I'll be handling this one tonight and
Thank you.
providing the report to council. The coronavirus pandemic has grown rapidly over the past few weeks, creating a major public health crisis on a national and international scale. On March 13, 2020, upon determining that the coronavirus created a public health crisis necessitating emergency action, City Manager Mark Devon utilized his authority to declare an emergency pursuant to Section 26-34 of the Arvada City Code. Section 26-36 of the Arvada City Code provides that any emergency declaration made by the city manager will be in effect for a period of 7 days. Thereafter, upon request by the city manager, the emergency declaration may be extended upon the approval of City Council. Based on the current state of the pandemic, the city manager has requested that City Council extend the effective date of the emergency declaration through April 6, 2020. The recommendation to extend the emergency declaration is based on the following factors. First, the public health crisis remains fluid as new information continues to be transmitted to emergency managers. Second, the next scheduled Arvada City Council meeting is April 6, 2020. A quorum of the City Council is expected to be present for that meeting, which would allow the Council and the Arvada team to evaluate the need for the emergency declaration at that time and determine if an extension is warranted. For those reasons, the Arvada team recommends that the City Council approve R-20-031, a resolution authorizing an extension of the effective date of the City Manager's declaration of emergency relating to the coronavirus and the associated public health crisis.
Okay, I do have one individual who sent in a comment on this item. We had set up in our public notice for tonight that people could submit items by email. We unfortunately cannot have the public present with us tonight. The following comment is from Katie Winter, Mayor and members of Arvada City Council. First, I want to thank each of you for your leadership and service for our city. In times like this, what will be remembered is the ability of the Arvada City Council to come together and make decisions in the best interest of all who live here. Therefore, it is vitally important that you follow processes as outlined in the city charter to give our city manager, Mark Devon, the ability to act quickly to utilize all and every resource available for our city organizations. I'm especially thankful for our Arvada Police and Arvada Fire and paramedics service during this time, and thank all of our first responders who are on the front lines each and every day. I trust that our Arvada City Council can and will make the best decisions for Arvada during this rapidly evolving public health crisis. We can do this, Arvada. The power is in the people to stop the spread of COVID-19 by making safe and responsible choices each and every day until there is no more threat of infection. Let's listen to the experts, take personal responsibility to stay at least 6 feet away from others, avoid gatherings in person in groups, and seeking medical attention from our primary care doctors or urgent care and ER facilities if we feel ill. In Arvada, we can use city parks, trails, and open spaces. Visit the Arvada Chamber takeout, takeover page and order delivery, takeout or pickup, drive-through food orders from our local restaurants and bars. Check on our friends, family, and neighbors with a phone call or maybe a video chat. Give help if you can to the community table. Ask for help if you need it. Check out the very ingenious work of Maddie Taylor from Arvada West High School in creating a website that connects working families with tutors and babysitters, and a newly created arvadaneighbors.com that connects people in our community who need help with those who are wanting to help. I'm optimistic and hopeful that as a city we can and will work through this and come out stronger than ever. So that's her comment. I would entertain a motion with regard to or any discussion on the item. Okay. Dot, would you like to make the motion now that you can be permitted to make a motion remotely?
With all my heart and soul. Let's see. I move that R 20-031, a resolution authorizing an extension of the effective date of the city manager's declaration of emergency relating to the novel coronavirus COVID-19 and the associated public health crisis be approved.
Motions for approval. Ms. Miller, your vote?
Yes.
Ms. Ford?
Yes.
Mr. Marriott?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Ms. Simpson?
Yes.
And Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Williams votes yes as well. That passes unanimously. Let's move on to City Council questions, comments. Ms. Miller?
Absolutely. So I think I just wanted to say thank you so much to the residents of Arvada for being very, very cool about social distancing. You know, I think some folks have done social isolation more so than social distancing. But please get out and walk your dog or take a walk and stay 6 feet away from folks on the trails. But we have some beautiful trails here. The weather has been fantastic with the exception of that one snow. But I want to talk a little bit about, or just throw out there to talk about the City and County of Denver issued a new public health order with an explicit stay-at-home directive for the City and County of Denver and the residents that will go into effect tomorrow afternoon. And I wanted to just ask Mr. Devon, I know you've had some conversations with folks on the county level, public health officers. Could you talk a little bit about where we're at right now?
Thank you, Councilmember Miller. I'd be happy to. So the Denver order that was issued today and will become effective tomorrow is something that has been discussed with many other public health officials. The way that it is trending in the United States right now in terms of these kinds of orders is that the public health officers of the respective counties or other units of government that have public health officers are actually the ones that are formulating these orders. There's been orders issued in the City and County of San Francisco, in many other counties throughout the United States, all formulated by public health officers who generally report to a board of public health or somebody else that oversees that function. This afternoon, following the Denver order, I was on a conference call with Tri-County Health, which serves the counties of Adams, Arapahoe, and Douglas, that 3-county area. And what they talked about during this conference call, which was, I think there were probably over 100 people that were participating from local governments within that 3-county area, is that they are at this very moment looking at a order that is very similar to the order issued by Denver today. They will be presenting a draft order to their Board of Health that is based on the Denver order, and they will be recommending that order be approved, potentially announced tomorrow and implemented by the end of business on either Wednesday or Thursday. They also indicated, because like Arvada, there are several counties in our metro area that are split between 2 counties. One of those is our neighbor to the north, which is Westminster, and they are also looking at. The question came up of what of those communities that are split by 2 different counties, and what I learned during this phone call is that Jefferson County, Broomfield, and Boulder are also looking at similar orders that, according to the public health officer for Tri-County, they are trying to get synced up and coordinated so that they can implement those orders at the same time. It is more practical for a county to be able to issue an order like that, particularly if they have a public health agency, which Jefferson County and Adams County through Tri-County Health have. So while we have been receiving inquiries from our citizens about, would we implement a Denver type order, that is most expeditiously better left up to the public health officers within the respective counties. So based on the information today, I think we can look for Tri-County Health implementing an order similar to Denver's. And again, I think what I heard today is Jefferson County, Broomfield, and Boulder are looking at similar orders. And so we'll be looking to see whether or not that happens, and certainly if it happens, we will work as a community to implement it as best we can and work within the framework of those public health orders.
So obviously, this city council is not making a decision tonight. This is something that we need to look to the experts and, frankly, authorities with more power than we have are the ones that are likely to make whatever decision gets made. Yes, Mr. Piper.
So I'd like to make a comment so that our citizens understand that even if such order was issued by Jefferson County and or Adams County, what does it mean to them? And I think there could be a perception of quote unquote order, and I would like to just tell the citizens, I think we're already doing it. It's just formalizing it. So not anyone should think that this is some martial law or anything extreme measures. I believe most of Arvadans are already doing social distancing, minimizing their movement, going to critical services only, and going back home. That's at least my observation. You know, I think we've all been home a lot lately. And then I see on the trails and everyone walking. I think we keep doing what we're doing today. Just because an order comes out doesn't mean we change the way we're operating today, other than continue to do social distancing. So I just wanted to underscore and stress that from my perspective, and I would assume the staff and the team here would agree with that message. This is not new news. It's just a different protocol that's been sent out by the health official.
Absolutely. In fact, these orders actually will list essential businesses, and the essential businesses that are remaining open right now are the ones that you would assume would remain open.
Today.
Grocery stores, law enforcement agencies, doctors' offices, hospitals. These are essential businesses. Critical infrastructure, transportation infrastructure, cyber infrastructure, those would remain open and available. The Denver order talks about parks and indicates that parks and trails would continue to be used with appropriate social distancing standards and protocols in place. I don't believe it would require a huge change. It would certainly put more emphasis on trying to do the right thing in order to address this public health emergency. It would also be more stringent about requiring employers to work remotely. As the City Council well knows, we have implemented that already. We have more than half of our workforce that's actually working remotely right now, in the areas other than public safety, which of course public safety continues to be based at the community stations and here at the main police station. So we've already implemented that, and I believe most businesses are implementing that as well. The Denver Public Health Order allows for food service to occur at restaurants and other food establishments as long as it's not dine-in. So it allows for takeout of restaurant food.
So takeout's still available.
Takeout's still available.
The liquor stores are, and so forth. I think one area we could ask our public for better support on is around the playgrounds, and to further, do social distancing with the children on the playground, skate parks, and so forth. I mean, that's the only area that we could do better as a community. But other than that, we're already doing everything those orders do. So, kudos to our city and community.
Great. Okay. Mr. Jones?
Yeah, I was actually, well said, Bob. I was going to just bring up the fact of the measures that our city managers already taken for the city of Arvada employees, which I think is a big step in the right direction as well. But I would just echo what Mr. Pfeiffer said about the playgrounds. I feel bad for these kids. They're on spring break, and this is a spring break that they'll probably remember for the rest of their lives. And so I know that parents are trying to create activities for them, but there's only so much moms and dads can do before burnout hits. And so it's maybe sometimes easier to say, just go to the park, and so we just need to be careful. And when they go to the park, other moms and dads are saying the same thing, and so now we've got kids playing, which is awesome normally. And so again, I just think as parents, we just all need to make sure we're helping our kids the best we can through this spring break and through the next several weeks of homeschooling, which none of our kids are used to either. So it's an interesting time, and one that I think we'll all remember for a really long time. So.
Yep. Ms. Ford, do you have anything?
Not at this time, Mayor. I'm just wishing good thoughts for all the citizens here in Arvada, that we all stay safe, healthy, and still find the opportunity to enjoy one another.
Right.
Without being close,
Right.
physically.
Ms. Miller?
That's all. Thank you for letting me bring that up.
You bet. Mr. Marriott?
Yeah, I have just one comment, and my comment would be that while our recommendation here to social distance is based in fact and logic, we have to be cognizant of all of the effects that we're all going to suffer here. We have the risk, the medical risk that is currently front and center that we're dealing with, but we have other risks too, and we have risks to our whole economy, our whole way of life, and to our fellow citizens. Just last week, I had to go meet with two of my tenants who were sitting on the couch sobbing because they're not able to pay their next month's rent, and because they've both lost their jobs in the last week, and really, really worried about what the future holds for them. Now, I assured them they were fine to stay where they were and that we would get through this together. But keep in mind, our citizens are hurting, and all of these actions that we're currently taking have a cost associated with them, and that we need to make sure that we follow sound science and logic with restrictions, but that we also look to putting our economy and our society back together as soon as we can, and relieve that type of hurt on folks too. So I just want to make sure we as a council have our eye on the immediate problem, but we need to have our eye looking forward as well, and be ready and willing to take action in the future as well.
Yes. Ms. Simpson?
Thank you, Mayor. Quickly, to go back to the parks, I just want to say thank you to the city for keeping the parks open. As the mother of a young child, my own family has made use of them, and they have been a bit of a life send when you have a 3-year-old who has been cooped up in the house and needs to get her energy out. And I myself, it's anecdotal, but I have personally observed everyone doing excellent social distancing at the park. And in fact, yesterday, my little girl was on the playground, and when another little girl showed up, we'd been there a while, so we let the other little girl take her turn, and we took our little girl home. So just kudos to all of our residents for keeping that in mind, to our city for giving those resources to our families, and then just asking city staff if there's any other measures our citizens could be keeping in mind to help the city infrastructure, just doing our part, for instance, perhaps with flushing things that should not be flushed.
Thank you. Mr. Piver?
Just to close, I'll have to say, I mean, I know this is not a very happy time for a lot of folks, but let me put a happier spin. What I appreciate is seeing families coming together in a new way, having dinner around a table more frequently, doing virtual communication that you don't see happen at all, even with phones today. Now you're seeing communities and families and friends coming closer together, even though they're distant apart. It's a new kind of probably norm. I also enjoy seeing all the people using our trail system. It's a lot of people, and I have to say, people need, when they go outside or they go into a grocery store, keep your humanity. I mean, at the end of the day, I have to say a good story where I went into a grocery store with my boys, and a man had grabbed the last gallon of milk, and we were trying to get milk as well, and he turned around and said, you would need it more than I would, and he was giving me that. And I think that humanity needs to be highlighted, and that we need to just still take care of our neighbor at a distance, but take care of thy neighbor. I mean, that's probably the most important thing right now. When you watch social media around some of the community groups or the neighborhoods, it's amazing when somebody says, hey, I really need rice, or I really need something, and the next thing you know, a person got like 25 pounds of rice delivered to their house. It's neat stories where communities are coming together and still trying to have some normalcy in their life, and we need to find it in a new way. And just keep that in mind. That's all I ask my citizens to do, is keep your humanity and keep your heart open and embrace your family.
Well said by everyone. It's obviously these are different times than any of us have ever experienced. It's from those senior citizens who I talked to, they're reminded most of World War II and timeframes like that, of really a different type of war, but we're certainly in a big battle right now. I think what we as a city have to look at is that we've constantly got to look at the balance between protecting lives, but also protecting livelihoods. I think this is a time when our business community is going to be suffering so much, and I've said it before, but quality of life begins with a job, and we've got to work to make sure that once this is past us, that we get back on our feet as quickly as possible, and that we do as little damage to our business community by whatever steps the health department suggests be taken, and that we really come together to support our local restaurants and our local businesses more so than we ever have before. So that's going to be a good challenge for us, but certainly keep your loved ones close and keep everybody else 6 feet away. So with that, Mr. Devon?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I just wanted to say one final thing. Our workforce has been doing incredible things remotely and otherwise, and I just want to emphasize how much I appreciate the support that the City Council has provided to our team. You have provided it through your, through the things that you've said, the actions that you've taken, and the expressions of appreciation that I've received from all of you. And I pass that on, and I just wanted to say thank you for all that you're doing, because it helps us to get the work done.
And give our thanks to the entire team, because I know it's trying times for them as well, but from all indications, the level of service is remaining high, and everybody's pulling in the same direction. Good. Rachel, anything from you?
Nothing from me, Your Honor.
Very good. Well, an interesting way to conduct a meeting, the social distancing that we're experiencing up here at the dais, and having 3 of our comrades not able to be with us tonight, and we look forward to all being back together again soon. So with that, we're adjourned.